Our next keynote speaker is the Director of Cross Labs and the President of International Society of Artificial Life. He's a pioneering leader exploring artificial minds and compassionate AI technology. He is based in Kyoto and serves as board director at Compass in AI in Tokyo, with a PhD from University of Tokyo and Princeton Institute. Dr. Witkowski has co-founded research ventures across 3 continents, including White House Incorporated in New York and centers in Kathmandu and Kyoto, focusing on diverse intelligence and consciousness. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Olaf Witkowski.
Thank you. Amazing. I guess I'll stay here. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to talk about something that is very dear to my heart. And also, I'll try not to talk too much about my own work and give a sort of state of affairs for AI, and especially in terms of why compassionate AI cannot wait. I'm based next door in Kyoto in case you'd like to visit, extend your stay with this beautiful group of people here. We have a lab where we study both artificial intelligence and natural intelligence, and most importantly, the intersection of both. Here are a few examples of works we engage in. Distributed cognition, we study AI that is not blocked by flows of data lacking. So if you stop pushing in new data, the AI should not stop learning. And we also focus on artificial phenomenology. Wonderful. This is amazing technology. Now I feel free. And I really believe that it's really at the intersection of those 3 things that lies technological innovation. So not only AI, machine intelligence, but also biology, sensors, like we just talked about this morning, and also awareness and consciousness. And really, it's the intersection of all 3 that is very important to us. And we're the only institute in Japan that carries this kind of research right now, but we're hoping that this will spread. I want to present a picture in which AI interacts with humans and what is at the interface right now, what is happening. And this is the example, of course, of the game of Go, in which for chess and Go and those kind of games, AI has a very superhuman capacity right now that's so impressive for game players, amateurs like me. But it's also a metaphor. So if you look at the game of Go, a very large board in which things are happening with those stones, and there are so many complex dynamics, and it's so hard for a simple human like myself to figure out what is happening with this technology, what are the rules. We're playing against this kind of demon or god, and we're trying to just figure out the rules of physics and the universe. And this is a perfect metaphor for activities in science and development of technology. And here is the state of artificial intelligence in my view. These are just 3 slides to start with. What wasn't possible now is possible, and we can now not only play Go on the left, but we can also understand protein folding, we can understand robotics, how it fits into different sensors and parts of our human body. We can understand virtual reality simulation of complex fluid dynamics to an extent that wasn't available to us before. And also we seem to understand more and more of language, something that we thought was unique to humans, that apparently is not so unique to humans. Other features are that AI is spreading like electricity. And really we have to be careful of it being available to all, and we have to understand how it fits in society, and that's our main challenge right now. And lastly, I think it's very important that we should notice that AI is now self-improving. So this is my favorite and actually Isaac Asimov's favorite short story, The Last Question, in which machines build machines that make themselves increasingly intelligent and capable. And this is already happening in my field, artificial life, or in different companies. This is just one example in which they build AI scientists that build other AI scientists and self-improve the sort of circle for intelligence. This is limited to mathematics, but is now extending. And this is a trend that we'll notice more and more. What we're being told is that AI is increasing in level from no AI at all, of course, capacity, to the chatbots that we're seeing. Everybody has one on their phones, to reasoning ability. This is the current level of AI, and we're told that it's going to spread, and inevitably it's going to spread. But you can see that there is an empty part of the triangle where it's not general yet. They talk about AGI, but what is the G in AGI? What is general? Are humans general intelligence? And when I teach my students, really I try to reframe what AI is about. So let's look at AI next steps. And it feels like we're encountering a new kind of intelligence, a bit like in the movies. Who has watched an alien movie before? Watched an alien movie before? We sort of like those. Those are fun, right? And it's all about this kind of dreamy first encounter with something strange, another form of intelligence. And this is not exactly strange. This is exactly what is happening also when we try to rediscover an ancient piece of wisdom and culture. I think that is as challenging. And the way Alan Turing presented it, we are really meeting with other minds of our own manufacture, but those are different minds. When I teach AI at the university, my students ask me to define AI, and I do so by saying that it's really about mimicking human intelligence. It's human intelligence. It's not any other intelligence. We have to accept and remember that AI is just about replicating human intellect, which is, after all, quite limited. And if you talk to a chatbot, you talk to ChatGPT or one of those, you're really just talking to the cherry on the top. And it feels human, but is it really human? So this is a picture by Helen Toner. It's really the cherry on the cake that you're talking to. And a bit like a horoscope can be interpreted as being only about you. No, it's not about you, right? There is something else behind it. And we have to understand the sort of monster, not in a negative way, but really there is something that is very different and alien about it. I'm also the president of an international society for artificial life, which is a science of other beings, other living systems, and other intelligences. I'm leading a conference organized in Kyoto just next week, so if you have time to stick around, just join the conference. So just talk to me or Jean after this. What we do is we do a lot of simulations of other kinds of intelligences in silico, but we also do that in chemistry, in different kinds of mixed substrates, including material science, in which those kind of systems start replicating, start learning, and then in the end accomplish different kinds of intelligences that you and I are not really used to calling intelligences. It's so different, like this monster I was showing. Here are the advanced examples of the same things. Maybe this example is very telling. It's really a sort of cyborg robot that is mixing cells of frogs, stem cells of frogs, xenopus, and that's why we call them xenobots, with AI. So those are cyborgs, half AI, half robots, learned with AI techniques, and have biological cells that have the wisdom and sort of knowledge of DNA and of billions of years of evolution. How to translate between those intelligences is what we're facing as a challenge. How to understand the limitations of LLMs that are actually pretty weak. What are their weaknesses, their biases, how to avoid those biases. This is really a sort of translation, kind of universal tool that we have to build. So in my lab, I do several things. We have an institute here in Kyoto that does research on experience. We take that seriously because we think that understanding experience is at the core of building AI technology as well. And the way we experience color, pain, or hunger, thirst, all of those things are so difficult, those tacit emotions. How do I communicate this between two humans? It's difficult between two humans. How do I communicate this? How can I ever hope for AI to solve problems that we cannot communicate between each other? So this is a central part that is not talked about too much in the AI field right now, but will become tomorrow the most important thing. And this is for fun. This is my hobby. It's called hypnosis. Saimin-jutsu. I've been a practitioner of this and different meditation contemplative techniques for a few decades now. And it turns out that there's a science behind it, and you can plug that into technology and sort of increase your capabilities as a human. This is a baby technology. It's a medium term science, and I think we should invest way more into this kind of embodied cognition. Again, something we just touched upon this morning. It's so funny to meet all those people that are interested in this next stage of AI. And I think it should be embodied and should be about extending our cognitive abilities. You can also use this for other playful applications. This is a sort of Netflix application. Who is streaming videos online, watching Netflix or something? I shouldn't be advertising, so, or any kind of other platform. All right, quite a few. It turns out that sometimes the movie doesn't really correspond to what you're feeling into, or it's going too fast, or maybe it's going too slow, or maybe the colors are wrong. All of that can be adjusted with what we call a master file, and you can live, by either wearing one of those EEG scanner helmets, or just with facial recognition, we can adapt the movie to the emotion that the director intended for the viewer. And this can be done online, live, real time. And those are adaptations of techniques that, the same techniques that are based not on just average AI for everyone, but experience-based AI for you, which again, I think is the next stage of what should be developed. And we have already developed something now, so something that we can demonstrate also if you're there next week in Kyoto. It's the last time I mentioned it. More playful is we should also try to push ourselves to talk to other kinds of beings. And a playful one is bacteria. So this is called the NukaBot. It's a collaboration with Waseda University. We throw a bunch of sensors inside a little box where we put also a bunch of bacteria in pickles, so vegetables to be pickled. And those bacteria that are going to pickle my veggies, I would like to communicate with them, to pickle this together and tell them, oh, I'd like it to be tasting this way, more sour please. And how about I listen to them also? And those bacteria actually are also, we use home bacteria. That's jargon for saying that we're using microbes that live on our skin and in our guts, or you know, actually we feel often lonely as humans, but we are trillions of cells and bacteria that are non-human on our cells. Right? We are colonies of trillions of beings. So this makes us also conscious of that, and by throwing in those sensors, we translate whatever we pick up, those emotions, those basic information data, into language. So we can actually talk directly in Japanese or in English, the language of your preference, to those cells and ask them questions. The next stage of this is from this November. We're starting the next stage of this program to do research on how to exchange information with our own tissues and organs and cells. So you can ask your liver how much you should be drinking tonight, which is probably going to be less than what you wanted. We also make it a bit more playful by playing chess with those cells. And I think this is also a frontier kind of technology of discussing with other minds, because we shouldn't be just talking to cells or to AIs, we should be talking to hybrids. I am a hybrid. I'm holding a phone. Maybe I have a prosthetic. Maybe I'm plugged into the internet right now, and I use Wikipedia every day, I am way more hybrid than I may think I am. The last one is how to transfer, of course, emotions from purely not only hybrid but also artificial beings. And how does an AI feel? How does an LLM feel? And those are studies that sort of try to stretch our understanding of other cognitions. And if we manage to do that, then maybe when we meet a robot on the street, tomorrow I meet a robot on the street, what am I going to do? Am I going to dissect their brain to understand how they feel? No, that sounds cruel, right? I'm going to ask them, I should probably ask them, hey, hello, how are you? Dzień dobry, jak się masz? It should be a very nice, peaceful, sort of linguistic, empathic exchange, instead of, oh, I'm going to dissect to see what their objective function is about. So hopefully, that's exactly what we'll do. And this kind of science is really essential to understand their language and the language of their emotions. With this comes a very heavy responsibility. We should care about the ethics also of what we are creating and what we are becoming. So if we become hybrids, if we develop AI, we have a responsibility to their own rights and to our own rights in the future. And our children, when we die, if that is still part of this world, we probably want to care about all beings, not just me and my corner of this world. So I will end on a few thoughts also about what is special in Japan. And I think Japan has, from Shinto, Buddhist, also Taoist and other traditions, is sort of concentrating a lot of wisdom here that we should not forget about. And we can see it in the type of technology that is happening here. It's emerging and it's sort of fusing in a very flowing way. And I've been fascinated by it since I moved here, maybe even before. And you can see robots that are very much like humans, but also a whole range past and before the uncanny valley. So things are very realistic or very other-like. And these are a few of those examples. But I find it fascinating that there is this relation and acceptance of other beings as being acceptably cognitive, acceptably, you know, human-like or maybe cognitive-like like us. And they're not less respectable because they're different. So I think because of this, AI in a compassionate way cannot wait. We should really take care of, well, of course, safety methods. Of course, we should take care of those kind of exploits that can be made. We should be careful about all this. But also, we should let the AI and other hybrid beings drive as well. We should not be holding on to it. We can consider AI as a sort of prosthetic, an extension of ourselves. And a bit like the abacus, much less like the calculator, but something that extends, stretches our knowledge of mathematics and everything in the universe. Probably not trying to hold on to control, probably not either letting go of everything, but somewhere in between, a balanced technology. And perhaps using this balanced technology, we can understand the universe, playing this complicated game of science and technology a bit more compassionately. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Witkowski. We have room for one question from the audience. Maybe two, depending on the question and the answer. So raise your hand if you would like to ask live. Do we have a mic for her? There's one mic going to you. Coming. Oh, it's okay. Over there. Raise your hand again, please. Thank you.
I think you.
Would you like to use mine?
It's okay. I'll pretend it's on. Like I think, um, so I think you like mentioned something about like, um, you have to like respect AI's like I guess like individuality, but like and I get that like you have to treat it's like moral to treat like AI and like robots with like humanely and with respect, but if they don't have a consciousness or if they don't have like individuality, then how are you supposed to like respect like their like as yeah like as an individual?
Such a good question and a difficult one. So I don't think we know, to be honest, right? And I spent a couple of decades studying also consciousness, and it's very difficult to tell. So in case we don't know, what should we do? I would say let's err on the side of carefulness. Let's be just in case. Let's be a bit mindful. But it's true that if we don't know, we should keep doing research about it. And I think spending a bit more resources than we are right now to be very mindful of any kind of beings. The critical case that I want to put in your mind, so you think about it, is anything hybrid. So if I have a prosthetic, I'm half AI, have I lost my consciousness? So the main scientist just unfortunately passed away, who emitted this theory just the day before yesterday, I think. And they are saying if we replace parts of us with something that is AI or robotic, do we lose this consciousness? And if the answer is probably not, then we should be extra careful. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Dr. Witkowski. Thank you for the magnificent question. Thank you so much.